Hey there, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm giving everyone a news update what happened this week. And I think the top story is we had a bunch of elections, and is MAGA in turmoil? We have a MAGA mess as Donald Trump was elected a year ago. It's been a year since he was beat Kamala Harris, and it hasn't been a good week. I'd say it's been the worst week so far for MAGA, as you had liberal candidates that swept other races across the country, and we've had a backlash against some elements of this administration. Now, let me show you what's been going on. The big news across the country, or the top story, really is the economy. Here's what President Trump had to say about the economy at an event in Miami earlier in the week, last week.
In 9 months, we've lifted over 600,000 Americans off of food stamps, which is a record. 1.9 million more American-born workers are employed today. And I tell Republicans, if you want to win elections, you got to talk about these facts. It's really easy to win elections when you talk about the facts. And we have more people working now than at any time in the history of our country. Right now, we have more people working. These are things you have to talk about. It doesn't just happen.
Boy, is he right. You
That
talk
was
about the facts.
that's
He's
President
exactly right.
Trump, and that's
Mr. Trump's
Larry
poll.
Kudlow on Fox Business. Praising the president said that essentially we've never had this much employment. We've never had fewer people on public assistance, and it's the best that we've ever had in history. But a lot of folks will beg to differ on that. Here's some folks here, and people on the right, I should say, are the ones who are saying it. Texas Patriot Kim Schumann, forgive me for the pronunciation if it's off there. They said President Trump says we've had almost no inflation and may drop to 1%. WTF planet is he living on? And they're showing a poll that Fox News showed saying that about 60%, nearly 60% blame President Trump for the inflation, groceries, utility, healthcare. There is a backlash that has been brewing. This is from Eric Matheny, big Trump guy. Republicans should be dominating right now. They should be running the table on the Democrats. They should. The Democrats should be an insignificant nothing for how badly they lost at last time and the issues that they ran on. Trump also has been floating the idea of a 50-year mortgage versus a 30-year mortgage, but most people aren't having it. I'm sorry, but a 50-year mortgage is the worst idea I've ever heard. Donald Trump is full of horrible ideas lately. Who agrees? And someone else writes on X, don't forget your MAGA hats when you get in the food bank lines. There are food bank lines across a good part of the country because of the government shutdown. And the food stamps have been curtailed, or in some cases, not given out because the government is not fully open. And this continues to drag on. Everyone is blaming either Trump or they're blaming Chuck Schumer. Here's another one. Conservative wrote, watching Trump lie about how great the economy is doing like watching Baghdad Bob during the invasion of Iraq. So these are some pretty strong comments here. And this is Mike Adams over at Health Ranger. He says Trump's gaslighting is getting insane. His claim is false that food isn't cheaper this Thanksgiving. He's lying, he says. This is what Trump posted. Walmart announced prices for Thanksgiving dinner are down 25% since under sleepy, crooked Joe Biden in 2024. Affordability is a Republican stronghold. Hopefully, Republicans will use this irrefutable fact. Well, even I will disagree with that. We know conditions have not improved in the economy across the country, and that would be foolish to be running on something when most Americans are feeling the pinch. Mike Adams goes on. He says, responding to employers announcing 153,000 job cuts. That's what happened in this past October. It's the highest figure for the month since 2003. Things are just getting started. This means last mass layoffs, as I see it, are occurring for three reasons: AI replacing human workers, money printing, inflation, the Fed, and Trump's tariffs causing chaos and disruptions in the supply chains, strongly impacting U.S. manufacturing and small businesses. So all of this flies in the face of what the administration has been telling, and it has been a bad week. So it really kind of gives you the raises the question or begs the question: can MAGA govern? Because we rode to the election, flying colors last time against a radical leftist, but now, a year into the administration, Americans are not seeing a lot of positive results, especially on economics. Here is Vivek Ramaswamy, who was a former presidential candidate. He chimed in, and this is what he had to say earlier in the week.
We got our asses handed to us in New Jersey, Virginia, and New York City. Democrats swept all three. There's two key lessons for Republicans. Listen carefully. Number one, our side needs to focus on affordability. Make the American dream affordable. Bring down costs, electric costs, grocery costs, healthcare costs, and housing costs, and lay out how we're going to do it. And number two, cut out the identity politics. It doesn't suit Republicans. It's not for us. That's the woke left's game, not ours. We don't care about the color of your skin or your religion. We care about the content of your character. That's who we are.
So there was Vivek basically calling the Republicans out for botching and throwing away the elections. And here's a voter in New York City who said, I voted for Zoran. I voted for an affordable New York City and a future to believe in. Now, Zoran Mamdani won the mayoral race in New York. The New York Post, a lot of the right wing press is calling him a Marxist, a socialist, communist, saying that New York is going to become the red apple or the rotten apple. But the voters had other things in mind. They are struggling. I know. I lived in New York, and it is absurd what is going on over there right now. So people are just simply are not having it. And New York is also the third most expensive city in the world. There are almost as many rats as there are people. There are over 2 million rats. There are 8 plus million people. And there are perpetual housing shortages throughout the city. That was a huge issue in the campaign. Right now, the rent for a one bedroom in the city center there in Manhattan is about $4,143 a month. And that's not including security deposits, fees. It is just not affordable. Even the people that seem to be living it up there are really just treading water. It's also the third highest political or public city for corruption in the United States. So that was really all economic issues that came to pass. Also, the Middle East was a factor. And the other candidates who were running really were not that strong either up there in New York. But getting back to MAGA, well, we're going to see what happens after this terrible week where the administration seems, or at least appears, out of touch with Americans. Okay, here's a South Park jumped in on the act. They jumped on Pam Bondi, who is the White House spokeswoman, or forgive me, whatever her title is. She's a big mouthpiece for the administration, but people are calling her nothing more than a brown noser and doing and saying whatever the administration says. Here's some of the yes. So Americans not having it with everything coming out of Washington for sure. However, Trump has also promised that he is going to give Americans now, in addition to all this other stuff, that he wants to rebate Americans 2,000 a person to rebate them. Here's what he said: People are against the tariff. He loves the tariffs. We're now the most respected, richest country in the world. He wrote on Truth Social. 401ks are higher than ever, but we have enormous debt. Record investment in the United States, plants and factories going up all over the place. And he wants to give a dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including the rich, that will be paid to everyone. So we'll see how that works out. Right now, Congress is absolutely gridlocked, deadlocked, and we're going to have to see how things work out. But it was not a great week for MAGA, but we're optimistic that things will turn around because the political left is just freaking awful. All right, and also, lastly, Mike Adams again. He's proposed replacing every member of the U.S. Congress with open source AI. Here's a little bit of what he had to say on that.
Instead of the dumbed down, stupid debates that we get from human candidates, it's like it's a festival of brain dead, like a suicide cult watch party or something. Instead, we're going to get intelligent debate on the issues, on substance. So, again, I'm proposing that, number one, we share this idea that AI senators and AI Congress people can do a far better job than humans. Far better job. And let's start talking about that process. Can we elect an AI agent to be a member of Congress? I say the answer is yes, and that it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when and how that happens. And that as AI begins to demonstrate its superiority in the legislative branch of government, then you're going to see more and more efforts to have AI agents replace the corrupt, dumbed down, ignorant humans that are currently in those positions for the most part.
So that was Mike Adams. So uh, that's something to think about as well, because Congress doesn't get anything done, and we're gonna have to see what the future holds. But you can find me on Ajax's news, weather, and entertainment channel. I'll be posting all kinds of updates on current events and cultural topics, extreme weather, and sports and entertainment. Thanks for listening, and talk to you guys soon.